Hello, everybody. Welcome to studio time. So, week one is almost done. So far, so good, would you say? So, today, it's a class project. Let's see, which way do I move? We're going to do that, and I'm going to talk about lighting up the dark. Okay, it's more of a temperature thing than anyway, and I'm going to see if I cannot illustrate that for you today. Unfortunately, this busy week has got me a little bit behind, so my palette's still a little dirty, and we got to oil this baby out. So you and I are just going to relax and chit chat a little bit while I get things set up and ready to roll. The magical Miss Cindy Myers here, so feel free to chat away. There she is. And let's see, I don't know where all that went. So there we go. So we got comments and reactions there. So what do you guys say that we just go ahead and get started? You know, my middle name is unceremonious. So I kind of, hey, what's up? Let's get to work. All right, you guys good with that? Let's go. All right. The computer will catch up with me in a minute. It takes a second for it to find it for some reason these days. Oh, dang, that is the wrong show. Man, who's in charge of this schedule? Who is in charge of this schedule? That is horrible. Okay, so let's come back and why don't you say we get started? Oh, and I forgot to hook up a third camera. So, yeah, let's try this one more time. Some studio time. All right, but luckily we got our assistant Cindy here, so we're going to put her to the test and see if she can set up cameras that she's never set up before. So it goes in that little holder right there. We'll see how that does. In the meantime, let's go over to the palette. I know it's not a lot of fun to look at, but we're going to clean that up and we'll chit chat while we do that. And then you might have to pull it in, push it out. There you go. Okay, so like I said, I didn't get around to cleaning up from yesterday. Don't know why. I'm sure that never happens to you guys. So things are just a little set in. I've got a little rubbing alcohol that I've put on here, or thinner will do it. I just let it sit for a minute, and then we'll get the razor blade out of this. If this wasn't such an incline, I would just let a little sit there, but get an incline so that we guys don't have such a horrible glare. The light glares off of this if we don't have it tilted up. So, all right, let's see. The very bottom knob, which was turning. It's turning around. Okay, so the very bottom knob. That's not the bottom knob. That's the bottom knob. The bottom knob on the bottom. A little overwhelming, huh? Yeah. Sometimes with so many buttons and knobs, you wish a dinosaur was chasing you. It'd be easier to deal with. All right, so we're just cleaning up yesterday's mess. So I'm letting some alcohol soak in on some of this paint a little bit. Hey, good job. Good job. Did you get my good side?
I always have your good side, babe.
Okay.
Tom says, I am with you no matter what's going on. And that is why we love Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Good to see him. See our friend Tom here. So we're just cleaning up, and then we will get going on how we light up our darks. How in the world do you do that? A lit dark, is that possible? Is it possible? Is it probable?
I'm just going to remind everybody, thank you for joining us. First off, thanks for being here. We always love having you. If you have not already subscribed to our channel, the little red box on the right bottom corner of your screen, just hit that. That helps us out, and then it also lets you know when we've got some things going on.
They got to turn on the notifications for that.
Yes, you need to turn on notifications. But if you don't want to have that, you can opt out of that as well. But then, and if you are liking this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you're new, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you found us. And put in the comments that you're new. We would love to meet you.
All right, these things are so much easier with Cindy here. Cindy makes everything better. Cindy makes everything better. So we got some burnt umber, and you can see that yellow ochre is holding up just fine there. We've got a little cad red left from earlier in the week. We might add to that pile just a bit. I don't think it's going to take much. Our white looks good, and then blue and black we've just got to check on. Let's see, I've got Prussian or phthalo up there right now, and I need ultramarine blue. That could send things sideways. So, oops, just scrape that and set that out of frame. And then magically, I'm going to wish my palette through the air and take it through the ultramarine blue store, and whoa, look what I came out with. All right. And how's this black holding up? Yeah, we'll see. We don't need that much black, so that should probably do. Okay, so now it's time to turn our attention to the painting, and unfortunately you're not going to be able to see the palette for this part, but I'm just going to take some Neo-Miguelp and a little Gamasol, and yeah, we're going to come back with this painting. And we're going to oil this out, and when I do that, you're going to see a lot of these values deepen and darken, and some of these dull areas are going to come to life. And I'm going to say, I tried to tell you, like, oh my gosh, I didn't even imagine. Well, imagine. Here we go. Palette knife. Thin that down a bit. Okay, so I'm just mixing the Marager and the Gamasol, the thinner. You never want to go over half and half. I believe that's the quantity that Gamblin says on their website and their technical specs. And I usually try not even to get too close to that. Okay, so in class this morning we were talking about how some of these effects we want can take some time to get. And we'll see how quickly I get into this. Ooh, I'm missing a key brush. All right, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go exploring around the studio. And this looks like a good looking brush and it's clean and I'm gonna use it. All right, and we're back and ready to go. Okay, so let's start in the foreground up here. And does this change anything? Well, just a little bit, huh? Just a little bit. I find black and blue, especially like the ultramarine blue, tend to be the worst. Some of the worst as far as drying out, kind of losing their value until you oil them out again. Now as I work across, you see all how kind of washed out that looks, and as I work across, look, it'll get those colors will get much richer, come more to life. Not be acting like a bunch of teenagers sleeping in all day, not taking the garbage out. Okay. So I'm just going to work across this, and then I'm going to make sure to take off any excess. All this is really dry. So hopefully this isn't too obscure, but I've got this at a pretty dynamic angle, um, just to keep the glare off of this.
No, you can really see it coming. It just got like rich, like
Yeah,
chocolate.
yeah, richened it up. Okay, and like I said, now I don't want big piles of this. I come over, I read the glare, make sure I haven't lost it. I missed that spot. There's a spot here that's been missed. Okay. Uh, Now I'm just gonna make sure there's no ridges in here. Try to take off some of the excess. I'm going up and down, not across for my final strokes. Oh, you guys still here? Sorry. Again, just once you get to thinking about the material and not thinking about a finished painting on a gallery wall with a huge price tag, then every stroke can become enjoyable and you can get lost in it. Um, as I was just doing simply by putting on the oiling it out. I use this time, when I'm doing this, I like to be quiet and not chit-chatting and talking because I really am trying to tune into the painting. And not to say I'm going to quit talking to you, but I just mean when I'm around the house, it's not like I have the phone on and the TV on and all that. I'm trying to, or even if something's going on, I've got that kind of locked out. And it's just me and this surface. Me and this surface. Okay. So what do we think? What do we think? Tom, what are we gonna do, bud? What are we gonna do? So like I said, I usually take a few minutes before we start and get that, but we're running just a few minutes behind today. And so now I'm gonna think about what I want to do here. I think one of the things I can do is I think I can make that grape much bigger. And I think I can add some leaves in with that grape to make a larger, more interesting dark shape up here. And I had talked about lighting up the dark, and it looked like I oiled this out, and it happened. But we'll see if we can talk some more about that. All right, just making sure there's no dead spots. And sometimes when the paint's thicker and stuff, I just want to make sure all that kind of gets taken care of. All right. Okay, so the challenge today is 45 minutes. Try to make this seem like it's enough. How is that going to be enough for all that empty space? Let's see, how's my head? My head out of the way? All right. So why don't we head back up to the palette, and I will mix up some good strong black. And we'll start with our blacks, and we'll go from dark to light and see what we can make happen in 45 minutes. Okay, I'm just cleaning up the mess I made for oiling out so that I don't make a bigger mess while I'm doing my painting by setting things in the mess that I made to start with, doubling my mess. Somehow the mess does grow by an exponentially. So all right, so our dark, boom, boom, boom. Do we need dark shadowy up front? Dark shadowy up front, what does that look like? What does that look like? Okay, obviously dark, but also if I want the shadowy, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just a touch of that cad red to warm it up. It's so strong, I didn't want to spread that through the rest of it. So just get a little bit of it. And save yourself a lot of headache rather than insisting all that going there and then learning, oh, that's way too light, so I gotta get a much more black. You just slow down a little bit, it all makes sense. So that's pretty dark with just a little bit of warmth. And I think it stands off from that black. It looks like we've got some black in there. So let's see. Let us see. So what I'm doing now is preparing that black paint. It's a little bit stiff, so I'm working some medium in there. You can see how as I do that, it goes from that matte look to it gets a little bit of a gloss, a gleam. If your paint will start like that, it's less likely to dry out so drastically. If you're working on a decent canvas. If you're working on a bad canvas, man, those things just suck out all the oil immediately. And they just tend to keep sucking it out. So you're wise to be to prepare your canvas. Be a good Boy Scout. Be a good Girl Scout. Be prepared. Okay. So I always advise you guys against it. So why am I jumping right in here and going to do what I tell you guys to be careful of? Well, part of the reason is this is not working at this point, right? And something needs to happen. So make it happen. You're the guy, you're the gal in charge of this thing, right? Who's the manager around here? Who owns this joint? Who bought this panel, these paints? Who's swinging that brush? You are, my friend. You are. So, what are you doing there, Jason? Oh, I was trying to see if I could get those equal. I know you were. It's not a good idea, my friend. All right, so I was doing that to see, because I can think about this as the black to the edge, or I can think about this as the grapes to the edge, right? The grapes to the edge, I think we're doing okay. So why don't we come this way? Again, what I'm doing here is I'm increasing the size of this to make it seem like the rest of that stuff's way back there. Because if this is this big here and it's that much smaller there, then that has to mean there's a ton of different distance between here and there. Whoops. All right, so we're going to drive this thing till we crash a spaceship. Well, it almost happened. Almost happened. No, that would just have been some broken glass. I don't think that constitutes a full spaceship crash, does it? Okay, and then what if, what if? What if we dreamed about the possibilities of dark shapes? Okay, so this is a lot of dead space here, so I'm thinking about Santa Claus and the cute sweaters he's gonna bring me.
He's listening. Santa's always listening.
Santa's always listening. When you live with Cindy, it's always Christmas, and it is a joyous thing.
I love Christmas. It's my favorite.
You're our favorite. Yeah, no? What do you guys think? That barely kind of shows up on the screen. It shows up much better. Why is it showing up so bad on the screen? Yeah, but see, look at the on the thing how. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into.
Oh, hang on.
How did that go? Bang.
Oh yeah, that's better.
That's better. See, that's closer to what's happening.
Oh.
F13. Now we gotta change this number. That go too far? Nope, that's even better.
Nope.
Boom. Okay. Now you guys are in the room where it happened. In the room where it happened.
Remember how that song stuck in my head. For all of us, you Hamilton fans out there.
Izzy's a nut for Hamilton.
Yes, she is.
She's got backstory and she can tell you all about it. Or she could a few weeks ago. Sometimes things change in her life pretty quick, so. I get those things coming together. All right. Keep keep them attached. Let's see. Trying to decide. I want one, maybe, I don't know. Why don't I just put the mark where I want it and then I tie it back with whatever it takes. Why don't you just do that? Well, okay. Okay. All right, and then that thing's got to sit on something. It can't, well, it can float. It can do whatever I tell it to do, but let's pretend this is the real world and there's some gravity and stuff like that. Let's just pretend. Now, light's hitting right there. So where's light not hitting? So this is more shadow. So let's, mm, mm, that's my special sound. My special thinking sound.
Hey, Miss Barbara's here. Hi, Barbara. She just said, wow.
Hi, Barbara. Glad you found us. Okay, so I think, hey, where's the before and after? Dang it. I want service.
You didn't tell me to do that.
Get spoiled. Anyway, so see that silhouette in the front just added a ton to that. What did I about double the size of the grape that it was? And then the interesting leaf shape. And then all of a sudden that empty dead space is boom, we've taken care of it. More or less. We may have to spruce it up or do a little something there for that. We'll see. We want to make sure that shadow's sitting on shadow. Shadow is as shadow does. Was that a famous philosopher that said that? No?
I don't know. You? I don't know. You always hit me with these zingers. I'm not expecting them.
Zingers, they're just questions.
Well, that was a zinger because I don't know a lot of the philosophy.
They're
I can't
not,
quote a lot of philosophers.
they're koans.
Okay.
Zen koans. So they're supposed to stun you, like, huh? And then you're in the in-between space, and you're welcome.
Ha! There's Miss Susan. We've been frantically, she's been here the whole time. We've been texting back and forth because she said, hello, Cindy's the bomb.
Cindy is the bomb.
We're trying to get her figured out why she can kind of see the chat, but she couldn't chat. And oh my gosh! But I am glad you are here.
Are you showing them what I'm doing on the palette? Thank you. Okay, so if we're going from that front back, that's got to be just a bit weaker, doesn't it? So how can we weaken that warm black and red without adding white? Because what we want to do is we want that part of that to seem like it's in shadow. So remember, what we're going to talk about today is lighting up the dark. And now I'm going to think about this as the strongest part of the shadow there. And I don't know why it seems super dry to me. So that'll be the shadow. Shadow coming off of there. Same with the spout. And even this shadow, I'm trying to get to be a little weaker down at the bottom. All right, and that, I don't like this because the shoulder needs to be here. And then we can, okay, is everybody happy?
Barbara says, "Thanks for the in-between moments."
See, she likes my Coens. Just kidding. And I want to keep this kind of weak and mysterious back there to help bring those stems forward. And now I don't know what I did right there, but the little chunky monkey looked like I just messed it up on purpose or something. Why would you go and do that? I don't know. I didn't mean to. All right. So I'm not so crazy about that background. It's just so orangey right there. So orangey. I like to be crazy about my paint. I like to be crazy about it. So what direction do I want to send that into? There, right? How do I want? I think what I want is I want more mystery here. So I want this background a little closer right here at this corner. It can get light down here to let that come off of, but a little bit closer here. And I think down here too, a little bit closer so that this is sharper and then that's sharper. So let's just do that and then we'll see if you guys agree or not. What are we going to do that with? Are we in the palette, baby? Yeah. Okay, so this is a tester. And that seems too dark to me. Tester number 2. Okay, and that seems too much, but remember, I don't have to put it on there thick. Can I just influence that color that's on the canvas with this color that I just mixed up? This beautiful color. Um, okay, well, question asked. The answer always comes from the marks on the canvas. Now, I don't know that I like this temperature, but I like that value right there much better. That temperature may be okay, I don't know yet, but it's surrounded by that orange, so again, if I can get that orange just to kind of poke its head through. Ah, now I can relax. How about you, huh? Right? And remember, can we just soften that edge up a little bit there? Take a little bit of focus off of that by getting those values a little closer together and let that focus stay separated up there on the shoulder. I mean, if we want to. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but if you wanted to, could you?
Susan says, I like the addition of the leaf silhouettes in the foreground.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
idea
idea
of
of silhouette is so powerful. It really, and it's a tricky one too, because the size doesn't matter, the shapes do matter, but it's just a good tool to really keep in your toolkit. Right? And it really just has the effect of setting something, boom. Oh, look at that scene, and then wow. I like to be amazed. I guess I say wow and whoa and stuff a lot, but right? If you're gonna be something, why not be amazed? Be stunned. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm needy. I don't know. Okay, so I kind of like what happened here, but again, I just don't want to blindly do that everywhere. So I want to think, but especially like the relationship from there to there, I'm pretty happy with all of that. That puts a smile on my face. And what's difficult is once you do, God, that feels so good. Let's just do it everywhere. And then you do it everywhere, and all of a sudden you're back to, it's kind of stuck like it was before. Because remember, what needs to happen is we want to move and grow as we come over here. All right, so how would we grow? How would we grow from there? Well, orange would be stronger. Right, and again, we don't want to grow too much. If we added just a kiss of white, just a kiss of white. Oh man, I remember my teacher telling me once, says, color's not really something you see as much as something you feel. And God, I wanted to get to that stage so bad. And what I'm showing you right here is that little feeling. It's taking some of that orange out of there. That just feels so much better. Just feels so much better. How's everybody doing out there? What's going on, Cindy? Is anybody talking to you?
Nope.
No.
If you guys have comments or questions, though, please put them in the chat. We're happy to pass them on, and Jason can address them while he's painting.
Yeah, and if you don't get what I'm saying or, it doesn't quite ring true, that's all right. There's no need to call the psych ward. Everything's good here. Just hang out for a little while. See if we can't tune in. But I realize when you first start hearing some of this, it sounds like Crazy Town. But let's just drive through. Let's just drive through and check it out. We don't have to stay. Maybe they got good food. Who knows? Okay, and again, I'm just, not that I might not bring that back up later, but it wasn't feeling back there, right? It was just too harsh. It needed to mellow out a little bit. All right. Okay, so where to go? What time is it? What time? What's our limited time? All right, 20 minutes. How could we best utilize our 20 minutes? I really think that if we worked up here and I darkened and enriched that a little bit, what that's going to do is really bring a ton back here. I think this right in here just got too strong. And I'd like to have some of those notes more up in this region, right? So I'm going to see if I can't find a bigger step for right there. Let's find a bigger step. Can't quite reach that light bulb. And again, that doesn't mean going in there with a bunch of thick paint necessarily, right? It might just mean, what? Again, a little glaze or knocking down. But I want to test something here before I go on, just to kind of get my bearings in the landscape in the new city. I haven't been here a little while, so I may have changed. No, I think this is the one. I had a different brand that was given to me of ochre, and it seems to have a lot of warmth to it. More of a warm, like a little orange in it or something. Like that feels just too gray. That feels too gray. Huh. All right. So I think a little bit of that would be just fine. Up here, and maybe even right there, right? Remember in the critique of Karen's the other day of the lady at the bar, at the counter. It could have been a bar, it could have just been a counter, I don't know. And in that one we kind of discovered the power of orange and yellow, right? And we discovered it by taking it out of the painting and then saw how much stronger those other pieces got that were being bullied by that orange and yellow.
Barbara said, just got enlightened with background direction, and then why away from orange and towards gray in the last that you did?
Um, it's coming forward too much. It's not giving way. Oh, can they hear your questions? Oh, okay. So the reason I'm taking that more towards gray, it was looking too side by side to my black, right? And so as I gray that off and weaken it, that black is released from that background. And I want to make sure that this stuff is sitting in that background. And if we get it too clear, too clean, that has the effect of bringing it forward. So again, I'm always thinking about space, air, and atmosphere and where I'm trying to portray this at in space. and then there's a certain degree of clarity that can or cannot happen. Right? So, and again, it's just relative, and just like color isn't something you see, it's something you feel. These measures between values and things are also something you feel a little more than see. Like this feels a little bit better to me, right? And I think we can go even a little bit more there. Let's see. Let us see. Yeah, and then is this right? So that straight umber to me seems like it has just a little bit of green in it. So it seems to be a receding color, definitely more so than the umber with a little ochre in it. See, there's a lot of yellow over here, and I don't know if I like that because we're kind of getting stuck right here. And the reason we're getting stuck is because of that big pile of light right there. So how do you what's that book? How to unstuck yourself? No, that's not unstuck. What was it?
There's
Why don't
an
we just say
asterisk
why don't
in
we
the
just say
title, so
unstuck
we're not
yourself?
going to say it.
So we unstick ourselves by and Barbara, apologize to your daughters if they just tell them don't talk like a painter, right? Never
That's
never
when
talk
you're
like a painter.
super glad for headphones. And the fact that our daughter is in 2 rooms away on her own Zoom, so she can't hear us.
Yes. Poor Izzy. Poor Izzy. Yeah, so you see as I take that, you start to get released from that spot. And the same, right back here, that's a little bit much. And I was just trying to get, I know what I was trying to do, but it was still a little much. That orange is a little much.
Barbara said relations between colors make sense.
Hmm. Yeah, it really is all real. Oh, that feels so much better to me. I'm not trying, like, there's a line in there that's like killing me, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But in the meantime, we're released from that. In the meantime. Let's see. You guys comfortable? I'm back in my head. So, who's keeping track of this poll? So what day is this? We started Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's 4 days. So what are we doing? 3, 4 more weeks of 5 days in a row?
Yep.
So what day do you guys think the introvert's gonna break? What day? How far? You guys think I get through the whole month, or you think I just snap on one of these things?
Do I need to set up one of those like fantasy football grids?
I think so.
Pick a square.
I think so. 'Cause I feel really good today, but I have a feeling, well, no, I won't break. We'll see.
You got this.
But, if I do break, you might as well win something off of it. So why don't we make some sort of sporting event out of this? Right, an endurance check.
Maybe I'll throw in some fizz sticks or anti-stress.
Yeah.
They can win that.
I've come to believe that this shadow right there is an evil shadow, that it is unnatural, and it was not made for this canvas. It is time to banish that shadow and replace it with a better shadow. A shadow more respecting the community. Let's see. Okay. Let's give the people what they want. Let's rid the devil. Rid the devil. Oh, that was the wrong direction. Somebody was drinking at lunch. Let's see. See if we can get our heads back on straight. And sometimes as your brushes get older, they'll get little tweaks in them or the hairs. It's not a big deal. You just have to learn, like, those hairs were pointed the wrong way that time. You can come back and cut back in, but I don't like that really sharp edge right there. I wanted to. All right, now I need some tabletop light to cut back in on that. And I don't want as light as that. I like where that is. I don't want to compete with it. I like that guy being the leader. Less paperwork for me. So we're going to let him stay in his leadership position. He can keep all people happy. And we're just going to slightly be a little less colorful over here, a little quieter. And while he's being bombarded with all this stuff, we can sit quietly at home. Okay, so that's a little bit bright. A little bit bright. Where was that? Was that right here? Let's just say yes. Okay, yes, it was right there. All right, that's better. That's better. What I want to do is get a little distance. Okay. Oh, now it's too short and stubby. Man, you guys just are never happy. Too long, skinny, too short, stubby. Nice release. Okay. That feels better. Now we come back to this. Oh. Oh. Does everybody love purple? Should we just do purple? Purple's such a pretty color. Sometimes you just feel like being pretty. So a straight up purple is probably going to be like 7,000 times too much. But I got ivory black in the wing, just waiting for the bat signal. He's gonna come over. Ooh, look at that gray. He's feeling feisty. He's like, why don't you purple that? All right. There's no need for that kind of language. I'm on him. Don't worry, Sin.
Do we need to have a talk with the paint?
Some of this paint's rougher than others. A little salty.
It is 2:25. How did that go so fast?
Yep. And so this is too light. But where that might work is on one of these leaves, or a couple of those leaves. Ooh, I like that. So it's a light cool that So I can use the same color because what I'm doing is I'm putting it on so thinly and lightly that's what's underneath is shining through. And so even though it's the same color, it'll still look like it changes because of what's shining through it. Oops, I was a little heavy-handed there. I need to go back to charm school. All right, so you see that coolness? That feels more lit than that warmness. And now what I need to do is kind of bridge it into everything else. Now, should I bring that dark into it? I don't know. I don't know, man. Everything's a little dark and heavy. Can we lighten up? You got a joke or something? Can we just talk about farts for once or something? Does it always have to be this heavy aesthetic stuff? I don't know. I mean, you put it that way, you make me feel bad. All right, so this is probably, boom. So it's a million times too light. But you see how that little bitty dot just gave a little sparkle to the area back there, right? Does anybody just ever just spill glitter on the counter just so they can have a little light, a little fun? A glint, a glean.
I would, but I'm sure you wouldn't talk to me for a while.
It's true. I talk a big game, but I don't want to be bothered.
Glitter's fun, but it is messy.
You know what glitter does? Do you know what glitter does? It gets in the way of painting time. I know the faces she's making behind me. You guys don't have to tell me. Okay, so what am I doing now? What am I doing now? I need to be a little more thoughtful. Right? It's easy to chase squirrels, but what I need to do is I need to bridge this right now because we live in a world with time for some reason, and whose idea that was, I don't have any idea, but I think it was the worst idea ever.
Susan was
If any of you are asking my opinion, what's Susan say?
Susan asked, "Is the canvas out of focus? The brush gets blurry as you're at the canvas."
Is it when I move or, huh?
Solid. Is it when he moves,
Yeah,
Susan? Because I think it looks solid when he's still. But yeah, I see what you're talking about. I think
yeah.
it's just the movement.
I'll try to get my videographer skills up, but it has to do with frame rate and a bunch of other things. And the problem is if you get it too clear, it looks fake, like you're looking through a bunch of stills, click, 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 click. And if it's too loose, well, then it looks like you're watching a video while you're drunk. So we'll see if we can't even that out. Now that light back there is feeling a little better to me, right? It's feeling like something's sitting on it though, right? Like maybe Papa Bear came and sat down and squashed the light. All right, and then this will not do. It will not do. It will not stand. So what are we gonna do? I'm gonna go back to that color, that gray, and I'm gonna put a little dark rich in it to send it in that direction. Oh, man, it went too far there. I don't like that little turn it just took. That coolness it took on. Maybe that's all right. I don't know. This feels like the color's gonna be too strong. But maybe if I rub it in with that purple that's down there, then it'll be just right. Which bear had it just right? Was it Baby Bear? You'd think I'd remember the story of the three bears, but it's amazing when you're in this space what you can't remember. And don't get out of this space to go chasing whatever you can't remember. It's not worth losing the headspace. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? This has been about an hour. It's been about an hour. That's really dark. See, we need to lighten that up again. We're figuring we had to move everything around to get this setup going. So one of the things I'm hoping to figure out is what exactly lighting we need so that you guys can get spot on color without glare. So we'll see. But I think I'll call it a day there. We'll be back tonight at 8 to look at the Masters. And then what's then? Sunday night for Sketch Club. Monday morning for a new class session. And then Monday morning we'll start our 3 times a day on YouTube again. 8 a.m. for student feedback. Okay? What's that? I'm afraid to. Oh, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the little red thing in the bottom corner. Hit that and see what happens. It's fun.
There, right down here. See
There
the
you
box?
go. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week. We're going to be here all month. I hope you'll use this opportunity to try to take what I'm saying and go work on your own stuff and put it into practice. All right.
Bye,
Until next
Susan.
time.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Susan. We'll see you soon.
Bye, Barbara.